March 15th, 2024, Tyrone Jacobs Jr. went viral because of his hair. But at the core of this story is the truth behind the YouTube quitter syndrome. There's also a message for us trauma survivors.
Now, the sky's the limit if you don't stop reaching for that dream. We learned that from our next guest. Tyrone Jacobs is one of NASA's newest engineers, and his official headshot for the agency has gone viral on Twitter, aka X, and around the country. A lot of people have been praising the picture because of how Jacobs is proudly rocking his locks in that photo. But there's much more to Jacobs than just his hair. He's overcome a lot in his own personal life to get here where he is now. He joins us on the studio tonight.
No, it's not all about that hair. But in a minute, you're going to see how it is all about that hair.
Good to see you, sir. And congratulations.
Thank you.
So when you posted that photo, did you ever expect to get the response you did?
Not at all. When I posted it, I thought I would get, a little bit of love. Some congratulations. This is a nice picture. You look nice. Yeah, like a little bit. But to see it going and where it went now in present day, like I totally did not expect it. And it's a very overwhelming feeling. I'm still overwhelmed. Like I can't even process. There's no words in the dictionary to process what the feeling is on the inside. Like I can't pick a word.
We're going to talk in a minute about why this right here is a profound statement.
And of course, you realize that many people are praising you, not only for your accomplishments, but what we can see on the exterior, your hair.
Yes, sir.
Because as black people, that has been a problem for many of us. That's why we have the Crown Act here in Texas, so people can wear their locks at work.
Oh yeah. And that's a big part of my life story, and the theme of my life story is being yourself, being who you are, being authentic, being true to you. And don't compromise who you are for anybody or anything.
For trauma survivors, not compromising who we are for anything or anyone is not a skill we learned as we cope with abuse and trauma. We have to first determine who we truly are during our healing process. But now this is also a message for you YouTubers who are starting a business or starting channels. And a message to the YouTubers who have decided to quit. They're just burnt out. The core of any burnout is always a misalignment of values of what's important to us. And my channel is growing very slowly. I have listened to all the rules about the algorithm, how to get the algorithm to pick up the channel, what topics to do, what topics to follow, the trends. And I'm not going to say that it hasn't been a real challenge and temptation for me, but I know that the minute I start chasing an algorithm or chasing a trend, I am off focus. I have had to make a commitment to myself where this channel is concerned, that I'm going to say something when there's something to be said. I'm not going to be chasing any algorithm. I resist jumping on news trends or lifestyle trends. And when we get off that focus, that is not sustainable. We must know what we're here for. We must not lose sight of the reason that we start a channel, take a job, do this or do that. Because the minute we lose sight of that value, we are on our way to burnout. I have also resisted the temptation of posting every day or post once a week or post this post or post that post. It's been a challenge because I want to see the channel grow. Yes, I would love to go viral just like this guy has. Yes, but one of the things that I have observed from all the YouTube quitters is that they have either decided, nope, this channel is getting ready to pivot 180 because I'm returning to my values, or they were chasing the algorithm to the point where they just couldn't keep up anymore. It's only going to be sustainable if you understand who you are and then the reason you are, and you resist all the noise that wants to send you down a different path. It's slow and steady. I get that. But this is not just a lesson for YouTubers. This is a lesson for all of us. We must understand who we are at our very core and act accordingly. Let's get back to the clip.
Right? And so I had to learn that. And so I just wanted to show people, hey, you can be yourself. You can be tall. You can be black. You can have locks. You can have a low cut if you want. Whatever you want to do, just be who you are and be genuinely and authentically you.
Boom. There it is. There it is. Authentically you. This guy has been living by that value by virtue of living by that value. His hair is in locks. By virtue of his hair being in locks, his picture went viral. But it's deeper than that. In other words, it's not about his hair. This whole thing, this whole video is not about his hair. His life is not about his hair, but it's all about his hair.
Absolutely. Now, you grew up in what? Toledo, Ohio, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
And of course, you grew up with a single mother.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Tough life, but you made it here today.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that life and that journey you took.
Yeah. So single mom. My dad was incarcerated in prison and in jail, and so it was very rough. I grew up in poverty. So I'm used to EBT, food stamps, WIC, honey sandwiches, stuff that people wouldn't even fathom in their brains. And so for me, it started out very, very hard and adverse, but I knew that God had a bigger calling on my life. I just didn't know what that calling looked like just yet. And so he had to basically guide my steps.
And this is the thing, you guys. It's a lot of us out here going through life waiting for something. For example, when I get here, then I'll do that. When I get this age, I'll do this. You're waiting for something to happen so that you'll do something else. It's not about that. As we'll soon find out, it's all about the fact that in himself he knew that he was here for a purpose. Okay? And he didn't know what that purpose was. He didn't know what it was. But in a minute, you're going to find out how his just holding on to that truth walked him into exactly this moment. And it's the same for all of us.
To get there. But early on, it was extremely rough. A lot of my childhood friends and people that I grew up with they're dead or they're in prison. They're serving life sentences and they'll never come home. And so I come from this type of background. So looking at me today, you wouldn't really guess that unless I told you. Right. So that's why I try to craft my message and my story around the bad things and the hardships, because I personally believe I've had more darkness in my life than I've had light or success. But looking at me, you would think it's the opposite way.
That's the key right there. Looking at him today, it might not bring someone who's at a lesser level in their lives any hope to just see him where he is today. In his authenticity, he has determined that his message will include where he came from, what he went through. It will include the fact that there was nothing in his background that would tell anybody that he would be anything more than a statistic. The authenticity that had him wearing his locks is the same authenticity that brings hope in his message.
And so I want people to know that no matter what you go through, no matter what you endure, no matter what challenges come your way, mentally, emotionally, financially, spiritually, whatever the challenge is, you can get through it and you can overcome it, and greater days are ahead.
And you said back as a kid, I think you were in the fifth or sixth grade, or 5 or 6 years old. You ran into a guy who saw you with your backpack walking down the street, and he said, "You're going to be someone."
That's right.
That guy eventually died, but that stuck with you.
Yeah, it stuck with me. Yeah, he ended up, he was actually fresh out of jail trying to get his life together. And he ended up being killed like a month later after that. And that was very saddening and unfortunate to hear. But yeah, there was one day I was getting off the school bus, walking home. He was outside. He saw me, pulled me to the side. He said, "Hey man, like, you need to stay away from this stuff over here. But I see something in you. Like, you're going to be something. I don't know what it is. I don't know what you're going to be, but I can look at you right now and tell one day you're going to become something." And he ended up passing away. So I never let that message, go away from or be far away from my mind and my heart. I always kept it with me.
Two things. First of all, anybody can see your destiny in you, and you may not see it. But the difference is point number 2 here, that when he heard it, He took it in his heart, and he never forgot what a man who wound up dying a month later told him. It sparked something in him that he never forgot. This young man listened to that word of wisdom, that word of destiny from that man. Now, part of the reason that this young man has made it is because he allowed God to direct his path. The Lord was directing his path the day he ran across this man. And sometimes when there's nothing there in your background to say that you're going to amount to a hill of beans, it's those moments of God's direction of your path that walk you out of that hopelessness. There's one other person, Curtis Martin, football player. He did the same thing. He had a gun to his head in an elevator when he was young, and there's nothing in his background other than the fact that he listened to his mother when she gave him direction, and he allowed the people who saw potential in him to tell him something. He didn't have a hard head. I write about him in my book.
And when you get a message like that as a kid, are you hoping at some point in your life, and I don't know if you're doing it now, to mentor to other young kids who may be, facing a difficult struggle growing up in their community or in life?
Yeah, so I find mentoring extremely huge and a very integral part of my success today, because I didn't get here completely by myself. I mean, I don't call myself a self-made man or a self-made person. I'm a God-made man, a God-made person. So God, he ordained all of my steps, and I just had to follow it. So for me, I've had a lot of people pour into me over the years, and so I really value mentorship, and I definitely do that with kids and babies and toddlers and stuff like that today. I mean, I am a speaker, motivational speaker, so I go into different schools, high schools, elementaries, universities, colleges. As long as there's a body in the seat, I'm there.
He didn't wait to go viral. He stepped into his purpose. Now, this is hope to my heart, and I certainly hope it's hope to yours.
So, I love to help the kids and help the youth, reach big and dream big.
And for those who are wondering exactly, obviously you're an engineer at NASA, UT graduate. What do you do?
The best way for me to explain it without getting too technical or too, I guess, deep into it is my team is responsible for making sure that space and satellite hardware are tested and qualified to survive a life cycle or a life's mission in space, in orbit. And so all of the hardware that comes through, we have to make sure it's tested, make sure it's qualified to various military, NASA standards, government standards, military standards. So when these parts are installed into rocket ships, spaceships, government vehicles, military vehicles, etc., those parts will be able to survive the space mission.
Be above my pay grade, literally and figuratively.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you for joining us,
sir.
and thank you for sharing your story here on The Factor Uncensored. It was a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you.
Tyrone Jacobs Jr., thank you for the dedication and the inspiration today. We never know when our so-called viral moment will occur. Our focus should be to stay authentic to the truth of who we are, and by virtue of that, stepping into our purpose and keeping our focus. And that authenticity will always walk us into our destinies. And those moments, those viral moments, will happen automatically, but they should never be our main focus. Always remember, your greatest power is realized in the truth of who you are. Know that truth. If this channel is of any benefit to you, if you like what you see, if it's helping you, please support the channel by hitting the subscribe button, leaving a comment, and like and share the video.